Hello everyone to unit number 2 of technology management. Welcome. So we today we're going to be talking about the marketplace analysis for e-commerce. So we in this unit pretty much what we're trying to do is to understand how we can make money out of a digital platform, or what do we need in order for us to be successful in a digital platform. So first of all, we have to do an analysis. So in this video, I want you to check it out because it talks about the valuation of technology companies. Valuation in technology companies is very different as compared to traditional ones because pretty much it is still a gamble. Sometimes a good digital service can work very well while others may not. This is the case, for example, of YouTube videos, YouTube movies. They thought that by having the expertise of video streaming, they could somehow copy the same business model as Netflix. However, they were very unsuccessful, and actually, they are on the verge of giving up. They lost a lot of money because in the end, they were trying to sell something that consumers didn't really identify with. So, anyways, again, the valuation of that it looked very promising, but in the end, we don't know if it's really useful or not. Currently, we have, for example, for video gaming, Google is launched Stadia, and then of course this gaming platform can be good. At the valuation, in the initial stage, looks promising, but again, all tech companies may face a certain failure over time. So, anyways, watch that video. Let me put myself here. So anyways, in this case, first of all, what we have to do when we're going to start an online business, when we're going to start an e-commerce strategy, we have to think of the online marketplace. So we have to understand what happens through the search engines, meaning when we type sunglasses, what do we see? What websites appear? Do we have a direct website? Maybe the first company to appear is Ray-Ban, for example, or appears a third-party company, which is an intermediator, which has all the models of sunglasses and so on. The same as social networks. If we were looking for a certain product, how does it appear on Facebook? How does it appear on Instagram? What content is available in that? We have comparison sites, again, which it could be an intermediary, which is those websites that we go and search. Like, for example, it could be like an Amazon that we can see sunglasses, and then we have tons of them. And then, of course, we have the destination sites, which is, of course, the website of the company where you are going to have a specific goal. Sometimes you want to sell the product, some other times you just want to give information about the product. And here comes your final goal. You need to understand what goal you plan from the very beginning. I just want to give information to the consumer and create brand awareness, or I really want them to do a transaction, right? I really want them to click and do a conversion. Remember, we talked about conversions on the previous unit. A conversion is I go and search, I click, and then in the end, I purchase it. Again, this is a whole process that we need to go through. Okay, so anyways, here we have a situational analysis and we have to do an environmental scanning. So in this case, we have to understand who are we as an organization, what kind of suppliers we have, how can we supply, how can we sell, how the society is looking for my services. So first, we need to understand as a company what kind of digital service we are providing. You have to be very careful of this and understanding the macro environment and the micro environment. The macro environment as the large scale of where we're going to operate, then the closer scale where we look at the capabilities that we have to provide a digital service or not, right? So first we have to do that analysis. First we ask ourselves, can I sell something online? Do I have that capability? Answer is yes, because I do have the infrastructure, I do have the logistics, I do have the ability to answer as quickly as possible. Yes. The second thing is at the macro environment, how are users or the environment able to really purchase my product. So in this case, we saw also in the previous unit the case of Blue Nile. So internally, I'm able to sell diamonds online. Externally, is the society really willing to buy a diamond online or not? So we ask ourselves that question, right? So now in this case, we have the concept of strategic agility. So do I have those core competencies to compete in the marketplace? Do I have the strength? Do I have the ability to have a website, put my product into the consumer's mind? Can I be the word of mouth or not? And again, so do I have those capabilities to distribute a certain product online? So we're talking about that strategic ability. So agility, not ability, sorry. So in this case, when we are doing this analysis, well, we did the first analysis of as a company, can we do it? Externally, can it be done? And then we have to think of the click ecosystem, which describes the customer journey or flow of how you start looking for a certain product. So nowadays, companies spend a lot of money understanding how you click. So here, I'm going to put an image, and just give me 1 second. Here we have, for example, a radar of how many clicks were done and mostly where consumers are clicking, right? So here, for example, we have on our website, mostly these radars is where the cursor mostly is. So it means the people do a lot of up and down and also go and click in here and click in there, right? So we need to understand that because in the customer journey, we see how the people purchase, where they go through, what kind of keywords they use, right? Because we need to know what kind of keywords they're going to use to look for our certain product. If my company, as I explained before, is Ray-Ban, most likely sunglasses will come in. But then also we have to go further into if, let's say, for example, we use a multi-channel strategy, which is I use different ways of marketing, and I place my product of Ray-Ban, of Rihanna, the artist, using Ray-Ban, then Rihanna glasses has to be linked to my website. So I need to understand again those keywords, and that's when a multi-channel strategy, marketing strategy works very well. So I put it, but I need to understand that people is going to look for Rihanna glasses. So what happens is another company understands that very well. So Rihanna sunglasses, they put it into their website in some certain way, not the same ones because they are not placing their sunglasses with her. And so they can take advantage of that instead of us. So again, we have to understand how the online market ecosystem works, where they search, which are the most sought websites. For example, in this case, Google. It could be Amazon. It could be Incoupang. So we have to understand again how people behave so that we can follow them. So in this case, we have again the online marketplace map. Where do they go? What do they do? So we have to understand, first of all, different customers have different needs. Some of them will look for certain information. Some others really want to purchase. Some other are based on the age that they are. Some of them based on interest, like for example, photography or so. So we have very different types of customer segments and what they're looking for. We have the search intermediaries, where they're gonna look for information, right? All those web crawlers, we call them these web crawlers, like Google or so, these engines, and how they look for information. Smart companies understand how search engines work and what kind of words they're looking for and how they generate traffic. So the most times my Ray-Ban, Rihanna, sunglasses words are mentioned, the most likely I'm going to be the first option. Organic appearance. Organic appearance means I didn't pay to be the first one in the line, right? So you can see, for example, Here, for example, if I do video editing software, so I use this web crawler to look for that. So if it's a paid advertising, and we're going to talk about later, it's going to be the first one to appear. This is not organic because already appears, because I paid to be the first one to appear in there. This one, Google will get paid. If I click it, Google will get paid for that, right? Or well, depends on the agreement. We want to talk about that later. So let's look at appear organic appearances in this one. So for example, here we have an intermediator, PC Mac, which gives reviews of which ones are the best video editing software. Mostly there's like mostly there are intermediators or review pages. So this is a very contested market, right? So yeah, for example, NCH software. So that was technically, organically, that's the first one to appear on my screen, because the other ones are just intermediators or review pages that are talking about it. Okay, so again, in these ones I understand, and then I have to understand how am I going to appear, right? Intermediaries and media sites, which is in this case there were review pages, and then of course whether there's other pages offering a product or how they sell it, etc. Let's see, for example, in the case we were talking about sunglasses, what is going to be the first one? See, here for example, we have some options. Ray-Ban appear, maybe because I'm saying Ray-Ban just now. It tells you where to purchase them. Sunglasses Hut, which is a company that sells many types of sunglasses, and the same thing. All right, Amazon. So we have to understand how's that gonna appear. Now, if I put sunglasses Ray-Ban, let's see how it appears. So in this case, it's gonna be, it's gonna directly put me to their website in the US, and it's gonna give me some other options, like for example these companies that are intermediators that they also sell my certain brand. So we need to understand how that appears on the web, okay? Because in the end we have to have what we called earlier in the unit before an online value proposition, which is if you're gonna go to my website as Ray-Ban, what I want you to do is to do a conversion, meaning I want you to purchase. In this specific brand, I want you to buy it, right? So I'm going to give you as much as possible the idea of how much it costs, the information. I'm going to go through there. This one is classic. I go, size, etc., etc. And the first is customize it or add to back, pay it. I want to do the transaction. And this is going to facilitate my transaction, okay? It says the more information that you have, add things, make a business, reviews, etc., etc. Okay? The options for payment, etc. So again, I'm creating an online value proposition because I give a lot of information. I do offer the free shipping and have season sales to make that conversion. Ray-Ban, in this case, in their online value proposition is you can get the best detail, the most information, and I offer you some extra things. Like for example, here, secure trusted checkout, free shipping, free returns. So, but conversion. I need to purchase. That's important thing. So in this case, we talk about that. So in this case, that's the structure of that. We have to see, again, we have to have the capability of purchasing that material or that supply or those sunglasses in there, and how are we gonna make sure that they reach you under the conditions that we want. So we have to understand how that happens. Where is the consumer? How can I reach them? How can I deliver? How long it's gonna take? And make sure that I can fulfill the promise of delivery. Right? So now when we're talking about these websites, when we're talking about the online marketplace, we talk about disintermediation and reintermediation. So disintermediation is when we remove the middlemen. So in this case, which is the middleman? So let's look, for example, at the company Tikbang. Tikbang, this This is a real estate company. Well, it's an application which disintermediates the real estate agency. So you don't want to pay for the real estate agent. You go through that application and you deal directly with the landlord or the tenant. That's disintermediation. But on the other hand, we're re-intermediating, because somehow the relationship can always be done without an intermediator, where the tenant and the landlord, they can always talk to each other. But now what we're using is this application. That's a re-intermediation tool. So in a different way, but still is a re-intermediation. So we cannot say that, we cannot say that this intermediation is completely happening with the internet. It is still happening, but it's creating value for the people in a better way. When we talk about Airbnb, that's a reintermediation somehow, because in the end, the people that wanted to stay in a place and the landlords, they had no way to communicate. So yes, of course, they had to take a cut of that, but otherwise it will be very difficult for me to find an apartment randomly, right? So of course that is what is bringing value to the service. So in this case, like I was saying, we have to understand let me make myself smaller. We have to understand the value of the multi-channel marketplace. So in this case, for example, like I said, the customer journey is from where I got the idea that I wanted to buy a new pair of sunglasses until I have them on my hand, okay? Until I paid for it, and whether I'm gonna post a review out of it, whether I say it's good or not, okay? So in this case, that's when companies decide to do a multi-channel strategy, which is, I'm gonna make sure that there's blogs mentioning my new Ray-Ban models. There's already people following the brand, so I need to take care of them. So in this case, for example, there's a blogger, this YouTuber, Jeffree Star. So I sent him a pair of glasses to review them for free. I know he has that influence. Wear them, tell them, yeah, they look fantastic or not. If they say they don't look fantastic, then I have to do something, because I have to fix my product. But anyways, then I have the glasses in the store. I have some glasses catalogs. If there's already people that is an advocate of the brand, I'm going to send them the catalogs for the new season, the website that I have seen, paid search. Maybe if I want to appear always Ray-Ban on top or sunglasses on top, like the companies we saw just now, they appear. Maybe I'm gonna send to my frequent customers direct mail with vouchers and coupons for the new line of sunglasses. Maybe if you buy sunglasses or you sign up for my website, then I'm gonna send you some opt-in mail offers on the TV, Ray-Ban, the latest fashion. And nowadays, well, not many companies use radio, but still we can say radio still there is part of multi-channel. But again, most of that still happens throughout all these ones, okay? So in this one, you need to understand the customer journey. For me, I'm an older generation, so in this case, I need to see the glasses, I need to touch the glasses, I need to see, and there's again some products that need that, because people want to see them, feel them, smell them, touch them, etc. We would talk about, for example, the company Lush, these soaps. You don't know how they smell. Yeah, it smells like lavender, fantastic, but I really want to go and smell it there, so that's why the physical location helps on that sense, right? Very good. So the importance of search engines, we already talked about that previous unit, which is we need to make sure that the search engines are efficient and working for us, because that's how consumers are going to find information for us, right? So anyways, we have to define a clear online business model. How am I gonna profit out of doing a business online? Here happens a lot that, for example, whenever I ask my students to do an entrepreneurship program of a digital company, so I want to do a business that people can check the weather online. Great, but how are you gonna make money? Yes, you have to charge a subscription, or not. maybe you have to put some advertisement in the application, etc. So you have to offer something, or is a membership, or how does that work? Okay, what do I offer? What's my online value proposition so that I can make some business out of it? Okay, so in this case, what we have to consider is the value proposition. Like I said, if I'm gonna be a company that sends that has an application for weather, maybe I could benefit by having some advertisings, or maybe I have a personalized weather for you when you exercise, saying something. No? And who is interested into this one? Maybe in this case, rather than focusing on general people, I will be focusing maybe on people exercising outdoors. So that works very well. No, so I have to understand what is the value proposition and when the customer segments come in. Okay, I need to understand what are the customer relationships, how am I going to communicate to them, what I'm going to tell them, and how I'm going to create value with them. Content, they also have to create content for me, right? The channels, again, how am I going to reach them? You see, just through the application, through websites, through brands, through how, right? In this case, I can also have partners as well, for example, which is Under Armour. So me as a weather prediction company, sports, I engage with Under Armour, and then maybe I have in this one, I'm gonna show you my watch. I can see the weather and so on, right? So very good. We have to understand also the main activities to be performed to deliver that value proposition, and also to develop revenue. We have to see what activities we're going to carry out constantly, the resources that we have, whether I have the latest and most accurate weather prediction. The same, the cost structure is I need to understand where I spend the money and how much money I need to generate in order to generate profit. Remember, an application, it doesn't run by itself. You need employees and you need to pay for all those operations. And again, lastly, which is a revenue stream, how you make money. Maybe it could be just from advertising. Maybe it could be Under Armour is paying you to provide a service for them. How are you going to do business to consumer, business to government, business to business, etc. Okay, so you have to think of how you're going to do that. In this case, for example, if I change of a different approach of a revenue stream, I'm going to have a platform for accurate weather forecast, but for farmers. So in this case, it works in a much different way. Okay, so again, revenue models. We need to understand how are we going to put our content online. So in this case, for example, I have the cost per thousand, or the cost per mile, per meal as in thousand. Okay, so in this case, traditional method, which site owners charge a fee for advertising. So in this case, for example, maybe if I have this weather forecast and then someone clicks in there, then that's how I generate it, right? Or the same thing with CPC, which is a pay-per-click text ads. I generate money every time that someone generates. Maybe there's some advertisings about anything related to maybe holidays or something. If you check a website of weather, maybe you can understand that. Let's check a little bit. Here, for example, I'm going to AccuWeather. So what is their source of advertising? Here, for example, we have a photo and video editing advertising, not related to weather at all. A video game advertising. Probably they think I'm a gamer. Yeah, pretty much they are generating advertising from there, and that's it. And also from Vimeo, which is like a YouTube. So they are generating advertising through those means, right? So that's how they make money. Sometimes you don't make money from the application itself, but just from something. You have sponsorship or site sections or content type. Maybe in this case, you have some certain sponsorship from a certain brand that has somehow connection with you. Then you have the affiliate revenue, which is also based on commission. If I display a certain advertising, let's say for example this weather website, and I put an advertising of this was a great example actually. Here I have this company, right? The Luperdeck. I don't know what was the name of it. So anyways, I go and click. It could be every time I click, they get some cents out of it. AccuWeather gets some of it. Or it could be, like I was saying, based on commission. Every time I download this software or anytime I buy this machine, I get 1% of commission if it entered through this means, okay? So that is how we have it. The same thing, they have the transaction fee revenue is very similar also, which is rather than a commission, I have a transaction fee, which is maybe every time there's a transaction, I get 1 cent, right? It sounds like nothing, but in the end, in reality, it's a lot. Okay, we have the subscription access or content to services. This is like more like Netflix, where you make money out of a subscription, or we have here also the Shade Club, no? That you get shavers every month for $1 a month. Okay, we have also the pay-per-view documents. This is, for example, happens a lot of journals or books. You pay to see it, to download it, and then you can get just one article or so. New York Times used this, for example. And then we have subscriber data access for email marketing. In this case, also the data a site owner has about its customers are potentially valuable, so you can send email to them. So sometimes you collect emails and then you can sell them if you collect emails, and that it's more like sending junk email. That's simple as that. If you are able to collect emails and send them more junk, right? So in this case, we have the calculating the revenue for an online business. It varies a lot. We have number and size of ad units. In this case, you have to understand how much you spend on advertising and how much you created, because I can advertise all over the net, but that's gonna be expensive. So how much money I'm making out of every click. Again, the conversion is important thing, because it doesn't matter to have many advertisings if they don't buy, right? Or brand awareness. It can be also marketing brand awareness. Okay, we have the capacity to sell advertising. If this is, for example, the YouTube revenue model. Why many YouTubers become very famous and very rich? Because people is interested in going and watching their videos, and appears an advertising in there. So in this case, they become a brand that they are selling themselves, right? So in this case, the other day I was watching this video that my daughter loves, and there's this little YouTuber that I think is an idiot. I don't really like him, Brian, and then he makes a lot of money. Why? Because there's many brands that the brand of the Ryan boy sells a lot, because there's many toy companies trying to advertise on his videos. Right? We also understand fee levels negotiated for different advertising models, which is we have how how is negotiated, how much I'm going to pay for you. We have the traffic volumes. In this case, how many people go through my website, right? And how can I increase that traffic volume? The traffic volume is increased pretty much by doing association with other websites. Here I have the example of this one, for example. Hold on. Here, for example, we see how we increase traffic to certain places. So this case, for example, is the Premier League, the soccer league of the UK. So in this case, there's already here brands that they have associations. So if I click, then I generate more traffic. Okay, for this EA.com, right? So I can check it out, and then maybe there's more things to click in there and so on. Anyways, I generated traffic for them. So in this case, that is also how we have to do it. Okay, very good. So now, and again, the visitor engagement, how long you can keep one customer, how long they spend. In that you have 10 seconds to keep someone in your website. So how long you can keep them. For example, this is one of the biggest successes of YouTube, is precisely that visitor engagement, which is they have the algorithm to recommend. I was just going to look for one song and ended up watching 30 different songs. So that is how the visitor engagement works. Okay. So in this case, again, Well, you already watched the video of how the valuation of the internet startups work, but again, mostly I can say it's based on the concept and innovation. If the concept has a good pitch, there's a lot of traffic coming in. If there's something very new, very, very good, then it starts to evaluate very well. Here we already have seen the valuation, for example, of WeWork. You can search for that, the valuation of WeWork. I don't remember if we did it in the unit 1, but that one works very well. So anyways, the valuation varies for tech companies very distinctively, because in the end, it's hard to really evaluate them and see whether they are worth or not. Okay, very good. So that's all for today, and we're gonna keep talking next week. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.